So, good morning. um, I have scored the first half of my day off today because one of my coworkers hurt himself. So I'm covering his shift instead, and I left my other coworker alone this morning. She's fine with that, don't worry. I don't abandon people. I had a really nice meeting this morning. The CEO and the COO of the company came and talked about some things. So I'm always the annoying one with all the questions. I know you're surprised. Um, so I like to challenge them a lot. I think I asked like 20 questions, and it's funny because the CEO is always like, "Sam, do you have another question?" And I was like, "Yes, I do." So that's me at work. I'm obnoxious. And then I also took the opportunity to show them our continuous improvement huddle board, which I'm pretty much like the first one in the company that really got those off the ground. And it was really an important concept to the CEO. So while they were there, I was like, while you're here, let me show you my huddle board. And of course, he loved it. So he asked me a bunch of questions, said he was really impressed. You know, all the things you want to hear the CEO and the COO say to you when you show them a project that you've quietly been working on. So that was cool. But you're not here for my job, right? So you're here for writing. So for starters, there's those paint your own pottery places where basically they have unpainted pottery for you to paint there, and you can paint it and they glaze it for you, which is it's really expensive, which is funny because you're doing most of the work and you're paying way more than you would ever pay for this at a store. But so this was $30. But check it out. This is my writing all the things mug that I painted. So when you're holding it in your right hand, you see it and it says write all the things. But on the other side, it says this. It says, shh, novel in progress. I can't hear you over the sound of my characters dying. Ha 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 ha. So it's actually classified as a beer mug. It's like a 16-ounce mug, but I go through 2 or 3 of these in an hour when I'm writing. I'm not even kidding. So having a large mug that number one says all the important things. Number two is a color scheme that I enjoy. Number three, I made it myself. Number four, it holds a lot of coffee. So I just wanted to share that with you. I also, to prepare for NaNoWriMo, and I recommend you do this because one, it's kind of fun, and number two, it might help you. I set up a box, and it's like my emergency writing kit box. So um, every time that you spend a solid month writing, there's going to be a day where you're going to kind of hit a wall. I'm going to take these off because they're bothering me. Where you're going to kind of hit a wall and you think that you hate your story and you don't like where it's going, or you simply can't be inspired and you don't have the energy to write. And a lot of people, when they hit that wall, that's where they lose NaNoWriMo. They can't keep going because writing is one of those things that you really have to keep the momentum going in order to go. But those walls, they do happen. You just don't want them to happen when you're being counted on it, right? So I made myself an emergency box, and what's in there is special coffee, so I can brew it with my French press and sort of make it a little bit more upscale than this. It also tends to be stronger, so it gets my brain really going. Special coffee, some bath salt so that I can take a soak, think about my story, a candle for the same reason. I put some lifesavers in there because they're called lifesavers. And then I put like some emergency chocolate in there, among other things. I'm starting to forget. That's good because I want to forget what's in there so that when I open it up, it's kind of a surprise. Another thing I recommend you stick in there is any sort of articles or stuff that you think that might jar your brain. So there are some things that'll ask you like 50 questions about your character. So it might force you to think about your character in a new way, and that's always a good thing because maybe you don't know them as well as you think you do. Maybe that's your problem. Things like a list of instructions, like now that you've opened this box, this is what you have to do. Stop. Don't write today. I want you to go through all of these steps. Go for a walk, take a bath, make a pot of coffee, ask yourself these important questions about your novel, do a couple of these little exercises to get back into gear, and then, when you feel like you're ready, or maybe the next day, then you start writing again. So it's supposed to sort of get you out of a tough spot and put anything that you need in that box, and then tape it closed and write in case of emergency only, and only open it when you know you're going to lose if you don't. So I have that because I thought it was fun. Okay, so what else did I want to talk about? So Nano is this weekend. I told you I cheated on my novel and I started it early. It's about 14,000 words now. It's going pretty well. Burge set some people on fire. That was hilarious. I think it's hilarious. He's so fun because it's like, when he's around his people, like the people that he works with, he's just kind of like a snarky goofball and he just likes to cause trouble. But when he's like in his work environment, he's like a total dick and you really want to hate him. So he's fun. Zanja is just this merciless, cold bitch, and it's fun. So she's like, she doesn't care about people at all. So she, like, Burge will be like, I'm tired, and she's like, I don't care, go work. And she doesn't like to get her hands dirty, but she's like very high class. Like, I don't even have time for you. So I like her a lot too. Wex is a good guy. He was like, he really needed to go get his dog, so he basically was like half dead and went to get his puppy. You gotta like a dog, you gotta like a guy who likes his dog. So that happened. I did take a pause from it because here's what happened. I told you the other night in my 5 a.m. video that I thought of a way to fix Akelia. Obviously, I'm really excited about that because I love that story and Hike is awesome. So I've been working on that a little bit. I'm approximately chapter 4 with the edit, and I do have to say that I think it's going quite well. I even ran it past the Stella test, and Stella was the one who told me that it really was just not going to work, so she was the only one that told me that. So when I told her, hey, I thought of a way to fix Akelia, the whole time it said Stella is typing on my Skype, I was like, don't tell me it's not going to work, please. I was panicking. And then she goes like, yeah, I think that's a good, solid idea. I want to see where this goes. And I was like, thank God. So, because I was already 4 chapters in, feeling pretty good about it. If she was going to say, like, that's totally not going to work, there's still all of these problems. But she's like, no, I think it's going to work. So, I value her opinion, and that makes me happy. So, I'm going to fix it. Yep, and up until Nano begins, this is what I'm going to be working on, is trying to fix Akelia. And then when Nano comes, I'm going to go back to my other story, and then when Nano ends, I'm going to finish whatever's not done of both of those and edit them up, and that's where I'll be. So that's my status there. Things are going well. I've got forward momentum. Words are working. You know words are working when you're in a Skype conversation with a buddy of yours and everything back and forth is just ridiculous and clever. So, like, Jory tried to say shithead, but she said shit heat. And she goes, what was I trying to say? Or she's like, I don't even know what I did there. Or no, she goes, I don't even know what I just started. And because we were just laughing back and forth. And I was like, it sounds like you started a BM, like, just like lick split like that. Like, that's when you know your words are working, when you can come up with flashy comebacks like that. So we just laughed back and forth for a long time. But she was asking me for ideas for names because she's working on her character backgrounds right now, which is good. She's hasn't really been much of a planner before, and she's really on top of things this year. But she didn't have names for her parents. I come up with names all the time because I've come up with 40 fucking novel ideas that I haven't written, so I'm like, I need names for all of these people, and I've just gotten names out the wazoo, so my brain is pretty good at just churning out names. So I sent some names back and forth, and I was like, I like names. Names are cool. I feel like I'm pretty good at it. She goes, yeah, you're pretty good at names. And I was like, I really like Lida. Lida's from Akelia. I really like Lida. I don't know why I like it so much, but it's good and strong and pretty. I was like, and Heike's cool. And I was like, Heike and Lida, they just really take the cake. But then because my brain is like in overdrive, the moment I said that, then I thought of Heike and Lida like literally taking a cake. Like, wouldn't that be a fun little side story? The captain of the Lyran and, like, Chili, like, I don't even like to talk, Lida just stealing a cake? So, I told Joy that and I just laughed, and then I was like, alright, you know what? I'm writing it. And I did. I sat down and I wrote a 1,200 word story about Heike and Lida, my characters from Akelia, literally taking the cake. So, I'm gonna read that to you on another video, just because I think it's really funny. If you're interested in it, that way you don't have to click on a link and go read it. I'll just read it to you. But that's where I'm at right now. Words are happening, like they're just happening all like crazy, and I'm really happy about it. So that's me for today. I know we've been doing a lot more updates lately, so I hope you're enjoying that. Leave a comment or something. We haven't really heard from you guys in a while, and we really appreciate your feedback. But I'm going to spend my unexpected first half of the day probably tweaking Achillea and seeing how far I can get with that. So, alright, talk to you later. Bye!